Luke chapter 22, verse 19 reads, "And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it, and gave unto them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me." This do in remembrance of me. And John 15, it reads, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye ask, ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you." I want to talk to you tonight from the topic, Remember Me. Remember me. And then we see here in Luke, it's a common story of the Last Supper, and Jesus has given the instructions and prophesying of things to come. But in verse 19, after he took the bread and gave thanks, he told them, "This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me." And I felt led to look up the word remember, which is the root of remembrance. And it says to have in, or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness of someone or something that one has seen, known, or experienced in the past. To have in, or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness of someone or something that one has seen, known, or experienced in the past. And so Jesus says, remember me. Do this in remembrance of me, or remember me. And as I thought of that word, I just thought back on how Peter was fishing and Jesus came to him and he said, "Follow me and I will make you a fisher of men." And it made me think of the time that he called me when I was in my place of thinking I knew what I was called to do, and he just kept calling and he kept calling and he kept calling. It called me for about 10 years before I finally accepted. And it made me also think about the experiences I had with him, and how when I was out on the streets, I would get high sometimes with people, and all of a sudden we would start talking about the Lord. And it made me think about the times when I would be the only one up at 3 a.m. in the morning, calling myself a hustler, yet crying out, wanting to be saved and singing, "Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart." It made me think about the time when I felt like I was fixing to OD on methamphetamine, and I felt strongly to drink a bottle of Bless oil. and all of the drugs came up. Remember me, to have in or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness of someone or something that one has seen, known, or experienced in the past. Do you remember? Do you remember where he brought you from? It made me think of the times he used my parents to labor over me when I couldn't labor for myself, when I couldn't fight for myself. It made me think of the times when my siblings, my sister Angela would pick me up and say, hey, let's go hang out. And in essence, she was kidnapping me, making me stay the night with her so we could go to church the next morning. It made me think of the times a prophetic minister prophesied to me that the drugs I thought I was going to buy the next day would no longer be offered to me. I had went to a service and they used to pay me to play at the service, and in my head I was going to take the money, sadly, and go buy drugs the next day. So I began to re-up, and the prophetess came to me and said, the Lord knows what you're going to do with that money. And we're going to pray right now that everything that you plan to do tomorrow, no one will want to sell you drugs. And so it was that I went out and at least 5 different connects I had, they started ministering to me. And they said, you too good. God got a call on your life. And I'm looking at them like, sell me some drugs. God was using the dope man to set me straight. And everyone that I had planned on scoring from, if you will, to resell, would not sell me drugs. He said, this do in remembrance of me, to have in or be able to bring to one's mind an awareness of someone or something that one has seen, known, or experienced in the past. Remember him. Remember his mandates. Remember his charge on our lives. Remember that he told us that he only did and said what the Father said to do and say. And in like manner, we should also apply that same theology to our lives. We should never be content with the teaching of men, but the guidance of the Holy Ghost. Remember me. Remember, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Remember the radical ministry I had as I took mud and made the blind man see. Remember that you should not conform to man's theology or your own precepts or mindsets, but the foolish things confound the wise. And so sometimes I might lead you into doing something that don't make sense for the glory of God. Remember me. Do this in remembrance of me. Remember me. And so we go to John chapter 15, and he verse 13, he says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And I looked up love, and it says a feeling of devotion or adoration towards God or a God, a feeling of kindness or concern by God towards humans. And the words devotion, concern stuck out to me. He was ministering to his disciples that as you remember me, remember my devotion to you. Remember that no matter what you go through, that you have to remember this is for the cause of the kingdom. And I thought about this morning as I got in my truck, and I had a fever and I had a cold and different symptoms was popping up in my head, and in my mind I said I didn't want to preach tonight, but he called me to it, so I got to go through it. And remember me. Remember the dedication I had when they tried to stone the woman Remember that you may have to go up against some things at times for righteousness. Remember me. Do this in remembrance of me. Make your mind aware of the things of God. This should be a repetitious process every day as we wake up. And he says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for a friend. Disregard your life for others. Your feelings. When I think about life, I think about everything that goes along with this flesh, and I think of our emotions and our thoughts. And he says, disregard that. Lay down your life for a friend. You want to show devotion, love to others, lay down your life. Disregard how you feel. When you don't feel like ministering, and you don't feel like getting up, and you don't feel like going to work, and you don't feel like giving someone an encouraged word, lay down your life. Lay down your life. Devotion to God. Love being a devotion or concern for the things of God. Getting to know God. Lay down your life when you feel led to get into the scriptures and your eyes keep falling asleep. Lay down your life and find your way back to the things of God. And he says, ye are my friends, verse 14 of John 15. If ye do whatsoever I command you. So now he's defining love by if you're doing that which he commanded us. What has he placed in your heart? What has he put in your spirit? How has he defined you? Where is he leading you? We know that everything that he did was because of love, was because his concern for us. We know that everything he did was because he was devoted to us. And as I think of the word devotion, I think of how he carried the cross. And they whipped him all night long. And we don't read in the scriptures where he complained about nothing. Could you imagine a life without complaint? When the boss treats you wrong, when your kids acting up, when the church members don't want to do right, when it seems like you're the only one coming and supporting the vision that God has placed on your life, can you picture that in your mind? One who is called to a purpose of death, never mumbling the word, always speaking in love, even when they mocked, even when they made fun of him. And he says, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. He said, I don't see you as less than, but I'm now calling you the same as myself. And I've shared with you everything that he shared with me. Because later on in the scriptures, I got to let you know that greater work shall you do. But I can't send you to do a greater work if I don't reveal to you what he's revealed to me. And so as we look at that word love and remembrance, have you tapped into that greater work? Have you tapped in to digging deeper so that you can commit yourself to a deeper understanding of who God is to you? Have you gotten to that place to where he speaks to you and gives you utterance in regards to the deep calling unto the deep things of God? Or are we merely practicing the religious ways of men? Are we merely flowing in a mere routine of nonsense? And he says, henceforth I call you not servants, but you are my equals, you are my friends. Because I've taught you now what he's taught me, what he's given me. And in the same manner as of devotion, I want you to devote yourselves to this cause. No greater love, no greater devotion hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friend. And in verse 16, he says, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit. And so now he's saying, no greater love than this, that you understand that ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. And I ordained you that ye should go forth and bring forth fruit. So now he equates the laying down of your life to bringing forth fruit. If you have laid down your life, you should be bringing forth fruit. I told a friend the other day, he was complaining about stuff, and I said, you don't have the right to complain if you haven't exhausted the limits. You don't have the right to complain and worry others if you haven't worried your own self by trying to figure out the situation. You want the fruit, but you don't want to do the work. You want righteousness, but you won't commit to the cause. You want a greater anointing, but you won't study to show thyself approved. And he said, you didn't choose me, I chose you. I picked you out. He said, I knew what you were before you were formed in the womb. I ordained you. I sealed the deal that you should break forth fruit, that your fruit should remain. That your fruit should remain. How many churches can say their fruit are remaining nowadays? How many churches can say that they're building up a flock? How many churches, we know in Cleveland, that's the deal. It seems like everybody loves playing church, and the only ones who really live in it is leadership. It's so often, I tell people all the time, they say, Kirk, why you don't post nothing crazy on Facebook? I said, because I ain't got to post nothing crazy on Facebook. That ain't what I'm about. And you see so many people that go to church, their lives are totally different when they get on Facebook. The same people that are crying and shouting every Sunday at the altar on Facebook clubbing on Friday, showing how they turning it up. He says that your fruit should remain. So he's saying that no greater love. You should lay down your life to the point to where when you bear the fruit, it should remain. Are you building believers that can stand strong? Or are you building believers that the first sign of weakness, they run back out into the streets? Are you building believers that turn into leaders? Are you building apostles, prophets, teachers, pastors? Is there any evidence of fruit being born that in your church that would remain in your lifestyle, in your home? Or do you wake up every day in pity of the things you haven't accomplished? Is there any fruit that's remaining other than the bad seeds you're sowing? That whosoever ye shall ask of the Father, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. And so he's saying once you get to that place where your fruit remains, once God can trust you enough to know that you've laid down your life, and this is going to be your practice, this is your routine, whatever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. We often talk about where are the gifts? Where is the healing power? Where is the things that we know? I often read books by Smith Wigglesworth. That's a radical man of God. You got to be on another level for that type of stuff. Smith was known, I read in one of the books I read, A lady had a baby born with no limbs. And he said, bring that child to me. And he didn't have no legs, feet, no arms. And Smith grabbed that baby and kicked it back into the audience. And when she caught it, it had limbs. He was known for healing power. But we often question these things. And the question I have to ask, how much have we laid down our life? How much have we denied ourselves? How much have we killed this flesh? Amen. So that we can go to that next level in God? And we know that he carried the cause of this to the cross. We know that the works of the apostles, they remained. Thus us having Christianity today. But now God is calling us deeper. We live in a world, we see the chaos. I've made a post on Facebook today that complacency is a killer of Christianity. Complacency is a killer in Christianity. It seems like we've gotten to this place where we're okay with what we've been doing. And then we wonder why we got these, the world, and the world is just doing their thing. But who is denying themselves when it comes to the church? I was telling my dad a few weeks ago, you know, he knows I traveled with the prophetic ministry, and I was pushing my prophetic ministry, and God just set me down. He said, sit down. He said, because a prophet don't just give good words. And he told me to go back to the drawing board, and so now I'm digging deeper. Because what we define as the prophetic today is merely the foundation of the prophetic. And so what that you can walk with a word of knowledge? And so what that you can prophesy of things to come to somebody? Where are the fruits that remain? God is calling us deeper. He's calling us to go to another level. If we want his church to remain, we have to remember him. We have to bring to our minds an awareness every day. In everything that we do, we have to stay devoted. And that second definition of love, it said concerned toward humans. We have to be concerned about their lives. We have to be concerned about their growth. We have to be concerned so much about their growth that we have to continue to grow. I remember we talked about this in Sunday school last Sunday. How Peter met the man at the gate, and he said, silver and gold have I none, such as I have, give I unto thee. And the man started walking. We have to get people to that place to where they are no longer laying at the gate. They're walking. And they're walking strong. And we're walking strong. And they see the evidence of the fruit that remain. And they remember us because they remember God, the God in us. And they see the evidence as we walk our walks and we build a stronger foundation in God. Remember me. God bless you.